Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 51 of the Dear Herbalist Podcast titled Secrets of Herbal Extraction. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, thank you so very much for listening and tuning in and supporting. I so appreciate it. Again, thank you, everyone, for your comments, encouragements, thoughts, sharing your stories. Continue to do that. I love it. I love reading it, and I appreciate every last one of you. So let's get into today's topic. Now, you went out in the yard or in your community, you picked up some herbs, you identified them properly and all of that, and now you want to bring them home and you want to pull that medicine out of them. So let's talk about some extraction techniques and methods, okay, to kind of give you a guide on how you can actually pull the medicine from the plants once you get them. So get your pencils, get your notepads, get your papers, write it on the back of an envelope, write it on a notepad, something. If you're going to continue to listen to my podcast, I'm going to always stress having notes because I'm going to definitely be giving you some gems and some wisdom here today, or tonight, I should say. Now, extraction, for those that are listening, they don't know. If you do, don't worry about it. Just listen anyway. I've got some stuff for you. Just keep listening. But extraction in herbal medicine refers to the process of isolating beneficial compounds from plant materials using various solvents or methods such as water, alcohol, or oils. So it's important for herbalists to understand extraction because it will determine how effective as well as potent your herbal remedy is. Different extraction methods extract different types of compounds, such as water-soluble vitamins, alcohol-soluble alkaloids, or oil-soluble essential oils. That word always gets my tongue like blah, 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 blah. So bear with me there, right? But each compound has a specific therapeutic action. Choosing the right extraction method can ensure that you as the herbalist can maximize the extraction of desired medicinal properties. You can also tailor your remedies to meet specific health needs. You can have a more targeted approach, as well as you can achieve consistent results, which is very important, especially if you are talking about tinctures or herbal pills, that type of stuff. You want to make sure that you have extracted the medicinal property the correct way. Before we begin, I'm going to give you two main points here. Okay. Number one is the solvent. So the type of solvent that you use is very important. And different solvents can extract different compounds from the herbs. So when I say solvents, I'm talking about water, alcohol, oils. These are common solvents used in herbal medicine, and each of them are used to extract very specific type of compounds. So you want to know that. The other thing is understanding plant chemistry. So knowledge of the chemical composition of herbs is essential for choosing the most effective extraction method. For example, some compounds are water soluble, all right, while other ones are best extracted with oil or some other type of alcohol. So you want to know that if you want to maximize your ability to be able to pull out the medicine from that plant. So what I'm going to give you next I give you like the top 5. There's multiple different methods of extraction, but since most of us are at home and not in a lab somewhere or in an industrial building or something like that with a whole bunch of equipment. And if you are, trust me, research it. There's tons and tons of more extraction methods that requires a lot more equipment. But since most of us are at home, I'm going to talk about the top 5 home-friendly extraction methods for herbal medicine, okay? Along with the types of chemicals that are best extracted by each method, their benefits, and I'll give you a little bit of advice for your doing this at home. So let's get into it. Number 1 extraction method is infusion. So with infusions, you're simply steeping the herbs in hot water, kind of similar to making tea. So this method is best for extracting water-soluble compounds, all right, such as your vitamins, your minerals, tannins, and certain flavonoids. Steeping time can vary from 5 to 20 minutes depending on the herb and desired strength. So water temperature is very important when it comes to infusions. You want to keep it just below boiling, so that's around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius. This is often ideal for most herbs. So let's look at a little bit deeper into the common chemicals extracted from infusions. So number one I talked about was vitamins. So vitamins boost the immune system and act as an antioxidant and promotes skin health. Tannins have astringent properties. These are useful for treating diarrhea as well as reducing inflammation. Flavonoids are antioxidants as well as anti-inflammatory properties, which are beneficial for cardiovascular health. All right. And so some examples of these are chamomiles, your mints, your lemon balm. And you want to make sure that you use fresh, high quality herbs. Like I said before, make sure you steep them for 5 to 20 minutes depending on the herb and desired strength. So if you're using delicate parts like leaves and flowers, then you only want to steep them for 5 to 10 minutes and adjust steeping time if you want a stronger infusion. The next extraction method is decoctions. So decoctions are basically simmering tougher plant parts, that's your roots, your bark, and your seeds, in water. Now your simmering time is typically around 20 to 40 minutes, though some tough roots may require up to an hour. So it's best to start with cold water and slowly bring to a simmer to extract more compounds. Now decoctions are best for extracting water-soluble compounds such as your starches, polysaccharides, and some alkaloids. Common chemicals extracted in decoctions, okay, like I told you, polysaccharides. Now, well, I gotta figure out a way to go into that. So let's look a little deeper into these common chemicals. Okay. Polysaccharides, so they enhance immune function as well as support your gut health and provide energy. Alkaloids can have various effects depending on the type of herb that you have, such as pain relief, muscle relaxation, or stimulating effects. Starches provide slow release energy and support for digestive health. And these, examples of these are like your ginger root, ginseng root, and cinnamon bark. And you want to make sure that you use fresh or dried plant material and ensure it is well chopped to increase surface area for better extraction. And then use a lid or something to cover it to prevent evaporation, and you want to make sure you retain those beneficial compounds. Now, let's look at tinctures. Most people know what tinctures are, but for those that don't, essentially it's soaking herbs in alcohol. So this is often like a vodka or Everclear, something like, which is vodka, right? or ethanol. And you're using this to extract the compounds over several weeks. So the alcohol percentage for tinctures typically ranges around 40 to 95%. And this, again, depends on the type of herb that you have. And the maceration period is usually around 2 to 6 weeks, although some of us prefer, to let it sit a little bit longer. So it really is up to you. But on a minimal scale, at least let it sit for 2 to 6 weeks in order to be able to extract those beneficial properties from your plants. Now, tinctures are best used for extracting alcohol-soluble compounds, such as your alkaloids, glycosides, essential oils, and resins. Now, with alkaloids, they have antimicrobial properties, they support your digestive health, and they help regulate your blood sugar levels. Glycosides can support heart health, reduce inflammation, and provide pain relief. Essential oils have various therapeutic properties such as antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and mood-enhancing effects. And some examples of these are echinacea, golden seal, and valerian root. So with tinctures, okay, you want to make sure that you use high-proof alcohol to ensure thorough extraction and store it in dark glass bottles to protect from light. Make sure that you label the bottles with the date as well as what's in there for tracking. Now, I can tell you, when I first got started, I was so excited to be, doing a tincture that I threw a whole bunch of herbs in there. As a matter of fact, it was St. John's wort because I harvested. I went out and I found it, harvested it, ran home. I was excited, got some Everclear, dumped all that into a jar, forgot to write the date. So I was sitting there trying to guess, has it been 6 weeks? Has it been a month? Has it been a week? Has it been, I couldn't figure it out. And I could have just kicked myself in the pants because I did not write it down. So make sure that you do that because you don't want to crack that seal before 2 to 6 weeks. I wish I would have done that. Learn from my mistakes. Don't make yours. All right. Now, oil infusion. So oil infusion, this is another extraction method. Oil infusion is basically where you're putting herbs into carrier oils. This can be your olive oil, your coconut oil, any type of oil for a longer period of time, usually about several weeks. Okay. And while sunny spots can be used, most of us herbalists prefer to infuse our oils in a dark place to prevent oxidation, right? So oil infusion is best for extracting oil-soluble compounds such as your essential oils, your resins, and some fat-soluble compounds. All right. Now with essential oils, they have various therapeutic properties such as antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, as well as mood-enhancing effects. With a lot of resins out there, they tend to be very antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, right? Then we have fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin E, and they have antioxidants. They support skin health. They help boost your immune system. And some examples of these are your St. John's worts, your arnica, and your calendula. That's just to give you a few examples. Now, you want to make sure that the herbs are completely covered by the oil so that you don't get mold. Store in a warm, sunny spot for 2 to 6 weeks and occasionally shake it. That's the fun part. And then strain and store the oil in a dark glass bottle. That is very, very important. A dark glass bottle. Now, let's go to the 5th extraction method, and that's a glycerin. Now, using glycerin as a solvent is what's going on here. All right, instead of like alcohol or water for extraction. So you're using glycerin. Now, glycerin is best for extracting some glycosides and tannins and are suitable for children or those who are trying to avoid alcohol. Okay, because sometimes people don't like alcohol or they may have struggled with an addiction. Typically, you want to give this type of person a glycerin rather than an alcohol-based remedy. All right. Now, glycerins are typically made with a mixture of about 60 to 75% glycerin and 25 to 40% water. And some of the common chemicals that are extracted, like we talked about before, were glycosides. Glycosides can support heart health, reduce inflammation, and provide pain relief. Whereas tannins, they have the astringent properties like we talked about before. These are useful for treating diarrhea and reducing inflammation. Now, glycerids also, can extract some vitamins and minerals, which of course supports our overall health and well-being, with some examples being elderberry, licorice root, and your calendula. So with glycerids, you want to use a mixture of glycerin and water, the ratio about 60-40 to ensure proper extraction. And then once you're finished, store it in a dark glass bottle and label it with the date as well as what's in there. That is very important. So I've given you the 5 extraction methods, but let me give you a few tips before we head out on how to organize your knowledge of herbal extraction. Because if you could start out, get yourself organized, make sure you have your labels, make sure you've, written in your herbal lab notebook, what's what, how, all of that. Then you will be better prepared and have a great experience in extracting the herbs, the medicinal properties from the herbs. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Now, As herbalists, we can organize our knowledge of herbal extraction methods by effectively adopting structured approaches, all right, that will enhance our understanding, application, as well as being able to document what we're doing. So let me give you a few strategies to help you organize your knowledge of herbal extraction. Number one, categorize by extraction methods. So this helps herbalists understand the specific solvents and conditions required for each method, and this will optimize your extraction efficiency, if that makes sense. Categorization of extraction methods. So this helps herbalists understand the specific solvents and conditions required for each method, optimizing extraction efficiency. All right, so you can classify your extraction techniques into categories such as your water-based, which would be your infusions and decoctions, your alcohol-based, which is your tinctures, your oil-based, which is your oil infusions, okay, and then your specialized methods, which is steam distillation and supercritical CO2. Another tip is documentation and record keeping. So you want to maintain comprehensive records of your extraction process, including the herb, the type, right, part of the plant you used, solvent that you decided to use, water, oil, alcohol, ratios that you used, duration, as well as storage conditions. You want to keep these records on each of your extraction remedies and methods. Now, the benefits, of course, this will allow you to be able to make your products again, make your remedy again. It also tracks how effective it is, especially if you had to make some adjustments. All right. So this information is critical. Another tip, all right, is having a lot of hands-on practice. So regularly practice different extraction methods with a variety of herbs so that you can gain practical experience. We as herbalists learn more and probably best by doing a lot of hands-on stuff in addition to just gaining knowledge through research. But hands-on when it comes to extraction is very important because this is going to help you, build your proficiency in handling different plant materials. You'll be able to understand their responses to various extraction methods, and then you can kind of refine things as you go along based on what you're observing. Another tip is understanding the chemical properties as well as actions of your plants. So you want to study the chemical profiles of the herbs you intend to use so that you can identify the key compounds extracted by each method. If you notice, I talked about before, with certain methods, they extract certain chemicals. Well, if you have that information on hand with your herb and you understand what kind of chemicals are available in that medicine that is within the plant, then you'll know, okay, I need to go over here and I know this can be extracted by that. This can be extracted by oil, or this chemical compound can only be extracted by water or alcohol. So it kind of helps keeps you organized. It allows you to know the medicinal properties that are available, and then you can tailor your extraction techniques to reach specific therapeutic goals. And then, of course, continued learning and research. So you want to stay updated on the newest extraction methods and advancements and different types of technology that might be offered to help us as herbalists extract these medicinal properties. You want to know that because it'll help you to know, one, if it's a lot of available information out there and people are actually researching and used it and have done it, that saves you tons of time. This particular technique or method works because it's been done before and it has proven results. So, like I always say in herbal medicine, research, learn. It never stops. It's an ongoing thing. Now, let me leave you with some final tips. Number one, start small. Start with small batches so that you can get comfortable with each extraction process and you can avoid wasting herbs. Don't do like I did and get all super excited, grab a whole bushel of herbs and just cram them down to a jar and no. Start small, okay? Get a little comfortable with it. That way you know what you're doing. You don't waste anything. Another quick tip, make sure you use fresh, high quality herbs, okay? Fresh or properly dried herbs. These provide the best extracts. All right. You want to use as close to organic, if not organic, as possible because you want to avoid pesticides. Now, we'll get, as we go further down this beautiful road of Dear Herbalist, we'll talk about harvesting and sustainable practices and things like that. But right now, like I told you, I'm just building the foundational knowledge and we'll just move forward from there. But you definitely want to avoid pesticides. You don't want to go snatching something off the side of a main highway and then shoving it into a glass jar with alcohol. You know, you just don't know. You don't know if it was sprayed, so you have to be careful. The other quick tip and the final tip, label everything. Write down the date, write down the herb type, write down the extraction method, all right, on all of your containers as well as in your herb lab notebook so that you know what you're doing. You can always go back to it, especially for those particular herbs that you have to keep for 2 to 6 weeks or keep for a couple of days in a jar. Write down and label everything, and of course store it properly. Keep them in a dark glass bottle, store them in a cool, dark place so that they can maintain their potency. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media channels at The Demystified Herbalist. Have a great evening, and please let me know which extraction method have you used that has worked best for you. Share it, share it, share it. Put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, definitely. And as always, family, have a great evening, and I'm out.